עוד אחד? מה אתה רוצה?
לא השם יברך.
לא את זה?
אפשר לא את השם יברך.
השם
לא, תחבר אותי.
חי בשם ויוחאי ועבד השונאי בשם ויוחאי Hashem Yitbarach, we're going to get started. Darkecha, Rachel and Leah, this beautiful book. But for those of you who haven't been part of everything we're doing here in this Chavura, this is a book essentially explaining two different ways that Jewish souls come down into the world and how they need to serve their purpose and reach their purpose in this world in their own unique path. One way is the more intellectual path, focusing on the work that the human being needs to do down here. And the other way is the more emotional path, and focusing on connecting to the light of God that needs to be revealed down here, right? Obviously, the emotional path goes with the ups and downs of getting the light and losing the light, and the intellectual side goes with a more steady, balanced, shows up, does what they need to do, but also lacks maybe more of a deeper emotional connection in every facet of life, right? Especially with their relationship with God, which would be a big loss, since the whole point of coming here to this world and having a creation was to have an emotional relationship with a revealed God, that you will have one-on-one connection and personal relationship with the creator of the world. You, simple you in your own individual life here and the whole entire world, and every facet of it has that already. Like Chazal teach us, all of the plants, all of the creation is singing songs to Hashem every single day. They even give us Perek Shira, right? That every single creation and what its song, what pasuk, what verse, what song is it singing to Hashem every day. So you too need to be able to sing to Hashem, and you need to be able to hear the song of Hashem back to you in your life. And this is a book that's explaining what are the sides of both of the Jewish people, right? Because everybody either they're extreme to one side, they're very Leah or they're very Rachel. Or, like majority of people, there's a blend and there's a mixture of both, regardless of what you are and where you find yourself on the Rachel-Leah spectrum. You have to acquire your weaker side or your non-dominant side, right? So a Rachel soul needs to acquire more Leah tools in order to be complete, and the Leah soul, more dominant Leah soul, needs to acquire more Rachel tools to reach completion, to reach their proper goal in a more wholesome way. Right now we're in a part of the book that is dealing with how Leah souls can acquire the Rachel side. Again, the Rachel side in this side is the emotional side, the light, the engaging with the light of the Creator in everything that I'm doing in this world, in the meat that we're eating, in the wine that we're drinking, in the beer, in every facet of your life you can find the light of Hashem there, because that's how it exists. Right? The question is, how do you connect to it and how do you engage with that and not what's surrounding it? Not the hamburger or the hot dog, but the light of Hashem that is bringing that thing into existence and what is giving you the vitamins and the good taste and the pleasure and the satiation. Right? That's the Jew's goal, is always to get into the light. That's the idea of Chanukah, and that's the idea of our whole entire being. So right now in this portion, we're talking about how Leah sides, the more intellectual sides, how they can focus more on acquiring the light of Rachel in order to complete themselves. And we learned that there's two ways that are needed so far that we've learned in order to do that. One is, first things first, they have to admit that it exists. Leah people that focus on, they show up to pray every day, 3 times a day, they do everything, they check all the boxes, but they're not so much emotionally engaged and involved. They don't find the light in what they're doing, the meaning of what they're doing. They do it because it's what needs to be done, and that's what I was commanded to do, which is great, but obviously not the goal, right? So they have to, first things first, recognize that there is an inner reality. There is an inner light that is behind everything that's going on in the world, and that it exists. And that it dwells on people that work to attain it and to acquire it, holy people that invest in acquiring and making themselves more vessels to attain this light and to have this light dwell on them. And 2 is to prepare towards it by way of either contemplation, meaning meditation, on the greatness of Hashem and the fact that there is an inner reality, an inner beauty, an inner light to everything that was created and everything that exists, spiritual and physical, right? And also to pray to Hashem to merit to experience that light, right? So there's one, recognition that it exists, and in my nature as a Leah soul, if I am a Leah soul, right, my nature is to deny something that I can't intellectually grasp, right? So first things first, I have to admit that it for sure exists, then start to prepare towards it by first contemplating on that it exists, and praying that I acquire it. The third step is feeling it in the sense of what's called or makif, an encompassing light, a light that surrounds me. After I recognize that there's light and I yearn towards it and I contemplate it, my nature is that I'll want to actually acquire it, attain it, to actually feel something. And a lot of times a person tries and is not able to feel it, and the reason is because Leah souls have to take the light of Rachel in a way that's fitting for the vessels, the kelim of Leah. Yes, you're a Leah soul and you need Rachel. You need the light and the emunah of Rachel, that there is something beyond what I see with my eyes, that there is an inner light that's being revealed by way of my actions. But I need to download that reality in a way that fits my makeup. It has to be in a Leah tool. Let's explain. It doesn't mean that I take the light how it is expressed for a Rachel person. The light that Rachel, the path of Rachel is what I'm seeking out, but I can't experience it like a Rachel person because I'm not a Rachel person. Revealed in a complete way and emotionally engaged, my heart feels the love of Hashem. Right? That's how they experience it. That's how Rachel people it, isn't it? Rachel people experience it, that it's a very, very, very real emotion. Remember, we talked about the certainty of Rachel people, how when they feel an emotion, they know it's real. They don't have to, you don't have to tell a Rachel person, oh, did you experience the light of Hashem? Yeah, are you sure about it? Maybe it was just, maybe it was just a hunch, maybe it was, maybe it was just a circuit breaker or something. No. Like I have a headache or a stomach ache and I can't explain to you, but I know I have it, right? A Rachel person experiences the light of Hashem, or the lack of the light of Hashem being revealed to them. They know what they're experiencing. So you can't now come as a Leah person and expect to experience the light of Rachel in the way that Rachel feels it, with complete revealed emotion.
What do you do?
Since Leah people are on the side of the nivra, the creation of what I'm meant to do down here as a human being, so the light in that way will weaken their avodat Hashem. If they feel it in a very strong way, it would weaken them showing up to the everyday things that they need to do. And it's impossible for a person to switch his teva, his nature. And Leah people will always go on the path of I'm a creature, I'm a human being, I'm a simple human being. I'm not some godly being that's experiencing godly lights. You gave me a commandment, you gave me 613 things to do, I'm going to try to do them. That's what I can do. I can pray and I can try to do mitzvot and I'm going to do them. I'm going to show up and I'm going to be persistent. But to expect me to feel something when I'm doing it, that's beyond me. That's too much, right? And you can't change a person from how they're made up. What you have to do is you have to soak up the light of Rachel and to receive it according to the buildup of their own soul. Meaning that even though Rachel people take this light, right, and they live with it, mamash, practically, they live with the light, they feel this thing, and they go with it in their life. Leah people need to take it in a way of a makif, in a way of a light that I know. We talked about a makif before, but for those of you who don't know, there's inner lights, meaning things that I've internalized, that are real, that are mine, that I've acquired, right? And then there's things that I know exist, I have a relationship with, but it's over there. It's surrounding me. It hasn't been internalized. The encompassing light, the one that I haven't got yet, but I'm aware of, that's called makif, or makif, the light that's encompassing. And then the inner lights that I've internalized is my or pnimi. And your whole entire life, you are essentially going and making your makif a pnimi, and your makif a pnimi, and your makif a pnimi. And every time you internalize something, you get something that you don't know. Like Rabbi Nachman says, Tachliti yediyah shelo nida. The purpose of knowledge is to not know. Right? Because the more you internalize the higher level above you, the more you realize that wasn't even a drop in the sea. Right? And there's still so much more to go. So a Leah person, when they need to tap into light, the light behind putting on tefillin. You can't go into putting on your tefillin and now you're thinking, wow, I'm going to feel the dead cow come alive around my arm and it's going to... No, for a Rachel person, as soon as those straps get on, their arm gets tingles. You're not there. That's their nature. You are a more intellectual person. So now I need to recognize that there is a light that's happening right now. Because the books say it is. For sure, and there's people that experience it. I admit that there's Rachel souls that are experiencing lights in a very intense and a very real way. So I know it exists, and I believe that the Chachamim are telling me the truth, that when you put on tefillin, worlds are being changed, and your whole entire structure is being sanctified, and the light of Hashem is dwelling upon you. That's written, it's there. People are saying they're experiencing it. I don't, but I believe it's true, and intellectually it makes sense that it has to be that way. And I start to tap in to the fact that even on a level of a makif, intellectually in my mind, I can understand that there's an idea that I don't understand, that I haven't gotten to the bottom of it yet. And I know that right now it's happening.
And like Joy reminds us that once you get on the road, you might as well be there, because that's the whole thing. Because even when you think you're there, you're not there yet.
There's no difference between faking it and making it. Right? There's another thing Joey says, and it's the same thing. There's no difference between faking it and making it. Because if you're trying to make it, and you're faking it in order to say that you're closer to making it, essentially you're in the process of trying to become what you're. Obviously not to cheat people, right? He's not saying it in a negative way, to abuse that. But if you're a student and you're trying to fake it that you're holy, you're trying to act more holy than you are, okay, you shouldn't do that, right? It's not a healthy thing. But essentially, you're on the path of getting there. Like you're learning those things. You're hanging around people that are higher than your pay grade. You're putting yourself in situations that essentially it's fake to where you really are. But if that's really your goal and you're trying to make it, then you're doing the right thing. Again, yeah. Right? So, and any idea, even though the maaseh, the action is the main thing, right? You have to put on tefillin in the morning, right? Because God commanded you to put on tefillin. You can't say, oh, I had meditated that I was wearing tefillin. No, you have to do it. You have to do the physical thing. When you prepare yourself properly and you yearn to receive the light that is hidden inside the tefillin, inside that mitzvah, inside that action, inside showing up to work, inside taking out the garbage, right? Inside cleaning up. Those are also holy things, right? And when you seek out and yearn to feel the light when you go to do the actual action, then you'll start to merit that you'll start to slowly but surely, as a Leah person, feel the light being expressed in your heart. In a general feeling, not the strong feeling that the Rachel person is going to get in a general aspect. In a argasha shel or makif, in a feeling of an or makif. By way of yearning, you start to get a feeling for that same thing. If you really yearn for something, if you're praying for that thing, you're building that relationship, it starts to become more real in your heart, right? Your words are coming from your heart, right? But they're just becoming physical. Once they become physical and you've yearned and you've prayed, now the bridge is being built, right? So now when you go to engage in the physical action, there is already a pathway there that's been started to be made clear in the forest. Because the way of Leah is b'kabbalat ol. It's not by way of nullifying the kli, nullifying the physical action, showing up to pray, making a blessing before I eat, right? It's not about those. It's not about nullifying that, like it happens with Rachel people. Rachel people, there's a fear. One of the downsides of Rachel people, and they focus so much on the light, is that you could be a little bit lenient, or to say it, disrespectful, or like not cautious with halacha, right? I need to feel right in order to pray shacharit. No, you need to pray shacharit. like whether you feel right or not, you have to do this, right? But no, because I need to. We talked about it, right? Do I need to go to the mikveh or not, right? When we brought it up, yes, you should go to the mikveh, but if the mikveh is going to make you miss shacharit, then no, because shacharit is mandatory and the mikveh is an additional bonus, right? So on these ideas, Rachel has a more natural inclination to nullify the vessel, to nullify the kli, right? Leah people can't do that. They can't fall into that. It has to always be their way, meaning I do what I do, and I'm conscious that there's a deeper thing going on here. And the more I'm conscious of this deeper thing, and the more I pray to attain it and to feel it and to engage with it, the more it will develop, and I'll begin to feel it in my heart in a general aspect in the beginning. And with time, you could actually start to get Rachel feelings the more you connect to that certain mitzvah or that certain tefillah or whatever it is. But the light is always going to be shining externally, like outwardly on the kli, right? Whereas for Rachel, it's like from the mahut, it's the essence. The light is like there inwardly. For Leah, usually it's always going to be a light shining on the kli. Meaning, you go to shacharit, you go to mincha, you go to a class, a Torah class, right? You do a holy thing, and you feel that there's a light hovering above it. It's not, you don't feel lit up, but you can sense that there's been a light added into the situation. And from that, you start to get more and more purification, because the light, in a higher essence, right? It's a higher light. It's a higher power than the vessel. The light is able to do much more purification. So, the more you engage with the light and you have a relationship with Hashem, the more you're going to start to get the benefit of connecting to Hashem, which is purification, which is becoming better, which is better tefillot, more Torah understanding, more kedusha. Right? More connection to the land of Israel, more connection to the Jewish people, more of a loving soul, more of a klali approach to all facets of life, right? To your relationships, to the things you engage with, to how you treat inanimate objects, everything. So you continue to make your kelim as a Leah soul, because that's what you're used to. You focus on what you have to do as a human being down here, which is to do what you were commanded to do, the external action. And you continue to do that in a way that I feel that there is light of Hashem here. And then, by way of dealing with the kli, it will be with a consciousness of the pnimiut, of the inner aspect, and with a general recognition that there is light of Hashem hidden here, and that is the main and most important thing that's going on here. Because the Torah didn't tell me to do these actions just to do actions. It told me that in order to have an engagement and a connection to the Ein Sof. to the light of Hashem. Right? So obviously the light of Hashem is the goal, not just the action, but I can nullify the action. The action is how Hashem told me to get that light. And it's 613 unique ways to get to the same light, but you were commanded to engage in however many of those 613 are on you, right? Not everybody needs to get divorced, but if you do, that's one of the 613 mitzvot, right? You can learn about it, you don't have to do it, right? So you can engage with that light that way. Not everybody has to do all 613, but those are the 613 ways to get into the light of Hashem. And now when I know that the light exists, and I come and I start to exist, and I start to engage in the physical action, now it's not just a pure physical action, it's with the consciousness that there is something beyond there that I'm yearning to receive as well, and slowly but surely it starts to develop. The main thing is that you have to believe in this ashra, in this dwelling, in this presence. You have to believe that the light of Hashem is in every single facet of every part of your life at any given time. Hashem is always there. And every mitzvah is filled with infinite light. Even if you don't feel it really revealed to you. And it's just a general feeling. Because even though the work of Leah is the hard work, is the perseverance, is the pushing through, is the showing up every day, doing the actions, not giving up, not going according to how I feel emotionally, not even asking that question. This is what I have to do, this is what I have to do. Whether it's Torah, work, whatever it is. But you can't get sucked in to the actions of mankind, of what I have to do. As a Leah soul, I have to do this, and I have to show up to this, and I did this, and I didn't do that, right? You have to connect all of your hard work in Torah and Tefillah to the Shekhinah. You have to connect it to the presence of Hashem. For example, when you learn Torah, you have to remember that the light of Hashem is inside the letters of the Torah. And you have to yearn to it. You have to yearn to feel it. And at that moment, when you start to put in harder effort to understand the Torah that you're learning, to break through in the sugya, in that idea that you're working on, and you think about Hashem while you're doing that, and by way of that, you will merit slowly but surely to start to feel it. So even if you don't continue the hard work, right? You broke through. You did hard work for a little bit, but you thought about Hashem, and now you broke through. So now you're not working so hard. But you're going to feel in general, this light of Hashem was brought down. Because why did I work hard to understand the Torah? To connect to Hashem. Right? But when I was working hard to connect to Hashem, I started to think about Hashem, and Hashem was revealed to me by way of my effort. Even now when I don't have to put in effort, the presence of Hashem is still there. The light was brought down. I was conscious of it and I brought it down. So now it's there. So now I can continue learning, and I could not even put in effort. It doesn't matter whether I put in effort or not. As a Leah soul, they might think that it does. But it doesn't matter, because the second I tap into the infinite, it's infinite.
Yeah.
I'm tapping into everything. It's now present. It was brought down. It's here. That's it. You feel Hashem's with you. And not only now do I get this comprehension that in everything there's hidden the light of Hashem, there's another additional level. And that you have to remember to feel it, that while I'm putting in the hard work, while I'm doing the action, while I'm doing the work, really the one that's doing it is Hashem. Right? I'm the puppet and he's the hand inside. Right? It's who's actually doing this right now? What's the energy that's coming through me right now and that's being revealed and moved around in the world, and what the connection was made between this person and that person, and the fact that I gave him money and he received from me, who was really giving, who was this, who was giving, whose money was it, who's doing all of this? Right? I have to remember, if I'm a person that's used to focusing on my part in the world and what I have to do, to remember that really it's Hashem that's doing it. Right? And I don't have any power to do anything by myself. I could never do anything as a creature, as a creation. Who am I? The creation is connected constantly to the Creator, and the Creator flows through the creations to be revealed amongst the creation, right? But who's doing it? And by way of yearning to feel it, you'll merit to live this, not in a way that I'm not going to do anything because Hashem is the only one that does anything and I don't have to do anything. I can just sit back. If He wants it, He'll just make it happen, right? No, you can't do that. I'll purify myself and my actions, that I'll know that in general, I'll be able to feel that Hashem is the one that's truly doing everything. Yeah, I have to be in the world. He put me in this world to do, not to sit on my, right? To not do anything. No, I'm meant to be engaged. I'm meant to be in the world. I'm meant to be active. I'm meant to be making things happen. Right? There's time to meditate. There's time to this. Exactly. The inner truth is that Hashem is running the show and Hashem is making everything happen. He used me to reveal His in the world in this aspect, right? But I can't take the credit for myself. And when we do that, like we always say, then I don't get too much pride when I'm successful. And I also don't fall to depression when I fall on my face. Because the outcome is not dependent on me. It's only the effort. Right? Yeah, I have to show up. I have to do what I have to do. When it's said and done and I've done my job, big success, thank you Hashem. Big failure, thank you Hashem. Right? That's on Him. And by way of this yearning and by way of it, I'm really going to be able to live it, to feel it, like it's written in Nefesh HaChaim. Nefesh HaChaim writes, "Me'at she'oleh al rayon ha'adam la'asot mitzvah hu mamshich l'atzmo or makif." From the moment that a person thinks to do a mitzvah, an or makif of that mitzvah comes down on him. Tomorrow I want to put on tefillin in the morning. Boom, the light of tefillin tomorrow morning has already come down on me right now. Right, as a makif. And by way of this, so to say, you're also clinging to Hashem in your life. And when you pay attention to this, when you actually come to do the mitzvah, you will understand right now that right now when I'm doing this mitzvah, I'm surrounded by sanctity. I'm surrounded by holiness, by presence of God. If you just pay attention that right now I'm doing something that there is immense light behind it, you'll start to feel that really you're encompassed by holiness, by light. But you have to be careful. Don't give the feeling of pride to fill you up. To think, I managed to figure it out, I managed to do it. Because as a Leah soul, you're not used to feeling these lights, right? So now you yearn for it, you try to work on it, you started to pray for it more, you started to be conscious that it exists, and boom, one day, shacharit like you never had before in your life, right? Lights, orot, as we say, right? And it's flowing and everything's good. You think, yeah, I did it, I got it. Boom, gone in a second. I promise you that light will be gone in 2 seconds, right? From experience, I'm telling you, it's gone. It's going to run away in the second you think that way, right? Because who are you? It was a gift. Hashem gave you. He showed that you showed Him that you're trying. You're putting in the effort. He gave you a gift. Here's a taste. The light is never, ever going to be dependent on what you do. Just that if you prepare a better vessel, when it comes, you'll engage with it more. It'll be more real. It'll be felt more. Because you'll have an acquisition. You work towards being a receptor. If it's going to come or not, how it's going to come, how strong, how long it's going to last, nothing in the world that you could do to really influence that. It's way beyond you. You can just be prepared to handle more of it and to enjoy more of it and to take more of it on with you for the rest of your life. Ki machshavot ha'ga'ava elu, these thoughts of ga'ava, of pride, wow, shalom aleichem, shalom aleichem. No, get something to eat, please, some food. Ki machshavot ga'ava elu, these thoughts of ga'ava, gormot lotzi et ha'or elyon shenichnas, they cause the supernal light that has come into you to leave, right? The Gemara says outright, the Shekhinah can't be present in a place of ga'ava, of pride, of arrogance. You want to be all about you, so then it's not all about Him. It has to be all about Him. It can't be two kings in one place, 2 kings with 1 crown. It can't be that way. Immediately when you have a sense of, oh, I did it, it was me, right? This sense of pride that comes up into you, you remember immediately, Hashem is the one that gave me the power to do this action right now, to do this, to achieve this, to reach this level. He's really the one that did it. Who gave me the light? Who brought down the light? Where did the light come from? Who's the light? What is the light? It's Him. So Hashem is the infinite. The infinite decided to come into the finite, or the finite pulled the infinite into it? Obviously, the depth is that Hashem decides what He wants, right? So it's a gift. He's the one that gave me this ability. And also, don't listen to the Yetzer Hara that starts to bring you down and starts to make it like it's a small thing. You have the opportunity to do something, and you start to feel, who am I? I'm not fitting for that. That thing's so holy, and I'm over here, right? Like, who am I to be learning that, or to go to that place, or to engage with that person, to ask that question? It's a stupid question. All those thoughts, right? That's the other side of it. A Leah person that's more intellectual starts to tap into more Kabbalistic things, more thoughts of light and engaging with Hashem in a relationship. Who am I? Right? That's the other side of the I did it. You can get inspired to do it and to put in the work to get to experiencing light. That's also a very Leah thing to do. Right? To take on a project where I'm going to show up every day and I'm going to work and I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes even though I don't know how to meditate and I've never felt anything in life. But the process is engaging and I'm going to go on the process. Right? That's also a natural Leah thing to do. If they really want to grow and attain Rachel Kelim tools. But if you think, oh, I did it, it's one thing. And if you think, who am I to do it? It's not worth it. And there's also a thought that comes to a person and says, what you felt is just a feeling of satisfaction. You didn't feel godliness. You just felt inner satisfaction. You felt like, I did something. You didn't experience actual light. That wasn't real. Whether it's a supernal light, a light of holiness, or a yichud, e'arat haratzon, the illumination of the divine will that is revealed inside the vessels of your emotions, whatever it is, if a light was revealed to you after you did something holy, it's real. Don't listen to any voice that comes and tells you, downplay that wasn't really what you thought it was, right? And also don't take the pride for experiencing that light, because it wasn't you, it was a gift from Hashem. Last little part for today. In the end, the light will go in.
The light will go in?
The light will come in. It'll come in.
Will come in.
After a time of work, a Leah person will also receive the light in their inner aspects. He merits to feel dveikut. He will merit to feel the presence of Hashem with you. And if you purify yourself enough, you'll merit to really feel the light dwelling on you. Not just experiencing it and engaging with it, but really feel it stay with you, last. But the way to acquire it is different. The way of Leah is by investing in yearning, and by way of that, receiving it as a makif, as this encompassing light. First I yearn, I start to engage with something that's beyond me, I yearn towards something that I haven't acquired yet, and then when it comes, it will also come in that same fashion as something that's present, surrounds me, but it's not, it's a general feeling. It's not like a intense, acute feeling, right? And by way of that, slowly but surely, the makif will start to become pnimi, will start to become internalized. The way of Rachel is, though, to receive the light as an inner light, first things first, and to work straight on the feeling and to strengthen the feeling. Right? So as Leah, I don't naturally get feelings, but intellectually I could bring something into my radius. So I think about it, I pray for it, I yearn for it, and it slowly becomes internalized. But for Rachel, it's naturally internalized, and my goal is to strengthen it, and to keep it, and to make it last. But I'm working immediately already on the feeling, because that's how I naturally get it, is by way of my emotions. So the emotion is automatically present, I just have to strengthen it now. I have to make vessels. I have to stretch out the light and put it into vessels, into my actions, to enhance my actions, that when I put on tefillin, my tefillin will be more gishmak, will be better, will be more enhanced, right? But the Leah soul, I'm going to do the action regardless, but I have to think about the emotion to start to bring down the presence of the emotion and the inner light. And the reason is, the way that a Leah person relates to light has to be different than a Rachel person. Oh no. It's not recording the audio at all. So, עיקר אצלם, it's here, it's good. כי צריך שלא יהפוך העיסוק באור לעיקר אצלם. A Leah person can't make dealing with light the main thing for themselves. They have to know it's not their path. אנשי לאה לא יכולים לעסוק את עיקר עיסוקם באור. Right? Their nature is making vessels. Intellectual people go through the process, they show up, they do the work that needs to be done. That has to always be their focus. They can't switch now because they found some Kabbalistic book to switch to become a person that focuses on light all the time, right? And engaging on light and meditating all the time, like it is for a Rachel person. Ella, shavshu ikar b'chashivut. Even though the light is more important when you have to put the light and the vessel together, right? A house is only worth something if a family could live in there. Right? No family, what's a house? It's just a building. What's a vessel worth? Right? It has to have action, it has to be alive, it has to be it has to be light. And obviously the light is the most important thing. What's more important, the building or the family that lives there? The family, right? There's no question. Even though that's the case, for a Leah person, they have to mainly be dealing with the kelim, right? The main thing is to keep the Shoah to Shacharit, to not think that if I don't go to the mikveh, then I can't go to Shacharit. No. As a Leah person, don't fall into that, right? You show up, and the time you're usually most structured. You usually have the same minyan that you go to, and you do it, and you're there anytime. You have your place. Keep that up. Just add contemplation on the light, right? Make it as an additional thing that you're trying to acquire, not your main goal every day. Because you have to deal with the light in a different way than the people that you're aspiring to become like, because you're only learning from them. You're using Rachel's souls for inspiration to learn from them how to engage with the light more, not to become like them. Because you have to stay you. You're a Leah soul, you stay Leah. Don't become something else. It's a general aspiration. That's how he calls it here. Sheifa Klalit, a general aspiration. It's a goal that I have in life, is to engage more with the light of Hashem. Not that it's my end all be all, because that's not how Hashem made me. Hashem made me as a person that's more of a worker, right? More of a person that does what needs to be done. But He also wants a relationship with me, so I have to develop that. Omnam lat lat, but slowly but surely, haor makif nichnas betoch adam. This surrounding light, this encompassing light, starts to enter inside the person. And it starts to become an inner light that is felt. A person starts to ascend, and his inner aspects, these makifim, these higher ideas that started to become more internalized, they start to illuminate outwards. They start to become real. They start to become part of what he naturally does. He naturally thinks with more emunah. He naturally approaches tefillin knowing that it is something that is super, super, super holy. That I have to be clean, that I'm engaging with godly lights, that this is real. That there is something that's changing right now when I put these boxes on me, right? That it's not just a piece of leather. But externally, what will you see on a Leah person? That they're dealing with kelim, they're dealing with vessels. They're learning what they need to learn, they don't miss their seder, and they're going to show up to pray every time, and it's going to be... Externally, it seems that they're just focusing on that. But internally, there's this light that's coming more and more and more out of him. He's developing more and more of an inner light that starts to shine outwardly. And he himself quietly knows it. Because he's putting in the work and he's continuing on his path of doing things externally. But developing this inner light, and it starts to become real, and others are going to notice it, even without him making a big think about it. No, now I wear white and and I'm gonna grow my long beard and peyot and he doesn't need all that. That's not what Hashem's asking for you. He's just asking for more of a relationship. Be you, do what you do, focus on the actions, but please think about me too while you're doing them. And yearn for more, and I'll show up, and it'll become real, and that will become a process of growth. Zat Hashem, that's our learning for today. Zat Hashem.